I'll just grab my water here.
And I got this, that, and I guess hello everyone, howdy folks, and welcome to another day in the Milky Way. Believe it or not, I got this all going in one big swoop and no big problems, and everything's yippee skippy hunky dory right on time. And with me tonight, I got Mandi Moo, and we were waiting for Omii, who should be around really soon. And I don't know where she is at the moment, but she's a coming.
Hi, everyone.
There you go. Just hello. Remember how Brian used to do it? Howdy, folks. Welcome to another day in the Milky Way. He was just always so confident, you know, in how he did things. You know, he's just so confident. I'm getting better at it. No matter what I do, every day is a better day. And you'll get used to it too, Mandi. You've been on a lot of stuff. You've been on Andromeda 7 quite a few times. Yes. And you've been on here a few times. So no worries. You're like an old pro. So how you been? Tell us what's going on in your life a little bit and what you're doing. It looks like you got a ton of crystals in back of you. Maybe you want to show some things off. I mean, you got a lot of information you want to spill out. Go right ahead.
Certainly. So I run a crystal shop, mineral shop. So yeah, that's what I do. But I've been trying to source a lot of crystals within Australia lately because we have some amazing crystals here. So yeah, that's what I've been doing lately is just Andromeda 7, some of the stuff in the crystal shop, and sourcing some great, amazing Australian crystals.
Oh, well, good.
Yes. Do you want to see?
Now, yes, I want to see. I'm going to give you the full screen. So I'm going to be quiet, and then you're going to have the full screen so you can show some of these things that you've been doing. And tell us about the frequency with those crystals.
Okay. So I'll show you, start off by showing you, and this is a gorgeous Lemurian seed crystal from Australia. So this is from Elsmore in New South Wales. It's absolutely gorgeous. So the Lemurian seed crystals have these lines down every side of them. They're said to release knowledge. So they were only founded in, I believe it was 2002. And they're found always individually. And like I said, they have these lines all over them. They're called Lemurian seeds, very powerful crystals. Yeah, and just fossicking. So I'll show you some great Australian labradorite here. It's very different to your American labradorite. Oh, goodness, I just got to get it out. Yeah, so it's very different to American labradorite. Oh, sorry, Canadian labradorite, which is blue, I believe. And so your Australian labradorite is still got that variation of your feldspar, but it gives off this gorgeous, sorry, they're quite tiny, blue sparkle. Yeah, so we're getting some amazing crystals here. Even recently, just having a look with and fossicking. So I got these rocks. I don't know if you can see the Drew's crystal on there. And yeah, so when it comes to frequency, so I went there about 6 months ago and I looked at these rocks and they didn't have this crystalline structure on top of them. And I've even noticed I've had a lot of crystals changing here. And I believe that's because of the frequency changes that are happening with Earth. We're going to see a lot of great crystals start coming, or even crystals growing within our own homes more.
Wow, that's cool. Now, when you're talking about these crystals, so they're all done up by you think the frequency is making the crystals grow, and I learned something this week about frequency and crystals too. Now, who do I want to put this? So each crystal has its own frequency, or each type of stone or crystal has a certain frequency?
Yes, it lets off a resonance frequency. Yes.
Yes. And can you measure them, or do you know what they are? They're always the same.
That's what I'm trying to do at the moment, is I'm trying to figure out how to measure these crystals. But I do know that when we hold certain crystals, some crystals will come down in resonance and try and uplift our vibrations, where other crystals like lapis lazuli is one of the most frequent crystals to go missing after people buy it, because it's one of the crystals that won't change its resonance or frequency. So very much sort of wants you to be on its level. Even using things like amethyst in plants, if you're having a plant that's not doing so well, chuck an amethyst point in there. It will bring it back.
Ah, I see. Yeah, because I got I got this is the I got this, and you can see that what color it is. It's that like purplish amethyst stuff colored. But that's one I got. I keep that on my desk and I rub it every now and then, like a good luck charm, you know. Keeps me going here, you know. So like, okay, I learned this week that if there was a guy called Mike Adams, and he was doing experimentations with, I think it was xylitol or something. Anyway, it was some kind of thing, and he was gonna make change, you know, it crystallizes, and then he was going to try to push sounds to it and stuff and change its structure and things like that. Well, in what he was talking about is drugs and things like that, medicines and everything. Those are all crystal structures or structures of molecules and things like that. And some way or another, now believe this or not, we always talk about the 100 monkey syndrome. And if you guys want to know more about it, check out Mike Adams, because he can explain it a whole lot better than me. The point is when they in the lab, when they had changed the molecules of a certain drug or whatever it was, it changed all the molecules around the planet, everywhere. And then they could never recreate the old structure of molecules. And so whatever they had invented, you know, was no good. They had to pull all that product off the market. I think he said it was Abbott Labs or something, had to pull all their stuff, because once they changed it, though, that frequency changed all around the world. Everything was crap, and they could never duplicate that again.
Certainly, and it makes it kind of answers the question as to why a lot of pharmaceuticals might not have been available for a while now, even before things went a little bit mental at the start of 2020, because the new resonance, the new frequency. I do know that when they create a new chemical structure, no matter where they do it in the world, so it might take quite a while for it to bond together and figure out what crystalline structure it's going to take. But once it's done that, no matter where you do it anywhere else in the world, it will then do it faster.
Yeah,
because it knows how to do it. And I was using frequency to play with when I was creating my bismuth.
Oh.
And
I'm going to give you full view on this a second. Here you go.
There you go. So I was using frequency when playing with my bismuth and making it. And even just noticing on days where the Schumann resonance was lower, I was getting not as good crystalline structure as I would on days where it was higher. And then I started playing with different frequencies of sound. So I started doing Mozart and Beethoven at 432 hertz, and the bismuth did not like it. It came out long and stringy. And then when I would play higher frequencies like 1074 hertz or 1185 hertz was some of my best crystalline structure. Any higher than that, it was still coming out with the bismuth, but it was very flat, but still had all the structure to it. So I even found just playing with those frequencies or sounds, even on my phone, to the bismuth while it was happening, actually greatly changed how it would form. So yes, I do believe that this, the frequency and the resonance, especially the Schumann resonance, is going to change the way in which crystals are, like I say, growing and crystalline structures happen. So
wow. Yeah. See, and that's really cool. You know, I mean, it's amazing all the stuff we don't know, but it's all based around frequency and the energy that you're put, you know, because frequency is energy, you know, we just don't look at it like that sometimes. You know, we've been talking about words And then you were talking about just playing music. Well, music is words and notes, and our words, as Ryan, who was on the other week, had said, you know, when we speak, you know, we're all gobbledygook right now because we all talk kind of slangish. But back in the day, it was more like tones and sounds, you know, yeah, hey, you know, what, you know, stuff like that for different things. And then they just change the tone a little bit to mean something else, which is very interesting. And I am going to get him back on, and we're going to talk a little bit more about that because, you know, so technically we were speaking in frequency continuously. I mean,
Yes.
and since we're made of crystal, I mean, we have crystalline minerals in us all the time. So what we're, like Wayne's always saying, you know, speak favor to yourself. So when you're speaking to yourself, you're sending out that frequency to you. All right.
So it's not just your words. So has anyone done the words on rice experiment? So this is based off Dr. Emoto's words on water experiment, where they played different music and even said different words to water before freezing it. And they would get very different crystalline structures where they said negative words or played a negative music, they would not really get a crystalline structure at all. And there's something that you can do with rice, and it's just 2 jars of rice, and you sit them on the window about 30 centimeters apart. One says love and one says hate. And I've done this now. Mine's about a year and 3 months old. And the rice that says love looks like it was put in there about 2 weeks ago. The one that says hate is brown, and even the way in which the condensation shows on these 2 jars is very different. And now these aren't words that we're saying to it. These are just simply the resonance that we have and we send out when we just view these words. And I had... because I was running my shop out of my house for a while, so I had a customer come in and go, but rice doesn't understand English. And I'm like, that's right, it doesn't understand English. So that's the frequency that we're putting out. It doesn't understand any language, it understands frequency. So I believe, like, not only is frequency an energy, it is the most important energy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. So is anybody in the chat there? I'm looking. I wonder if anybody, raise your hand if you've done that rice experiment. We're getting to have a full house already. We got a lot of people in here, Mandy. All our friends. We got Lori from Pure Love Ascension. We got Teresa. Hey, Teresa.
Hi, Teresa.
We got Mary Wins is in the house, and Julianne Payne, your next door neighbor. Elderberry is in the house. And Renee Hutchelson. She says, I love myself. I love others. Very good. Well done.
Great frequency.
Jill Jarrett is in the house. We have Delaney Pearl Jones. You've got to listen to the music of Killa Priest. I'm going to post his music, man. She's so cool. I heard her the other night on Jeffrey Dartrey talking, and she had a good one. She is so up on things. Delaney, when you get your computer fixed, you're coming on here, right? I got to have you on again. The last time she was on, she had such a bad connection. And we got Doug Stack. Doug, you coming on? You got to email me again. Set up a time. He's awesome too. I was on Scotty Roberts the other night, and so was he. So that was pretty cool. So go check out Scotty Roberts from last night. We were talking about porn. It was it was funny, but anyway. Dark Truth's in the house. Hey, Dark Truth. Hey, I know. It's like, anyway, it's all good. We got, I don't know. I seen Lucky Stones in the house. He says, I bought a 15 crystal point. It was Lamarian crystal. I guess that's it. Laminarian. I don't know if that's a crystal type of crystal, but it just it looks like quartz crystal points. That's what he says. Posey's in the house. David Castle, I think Joanne Dancing Gypsies in the house. I think I got everybody. Elderberry, yeah, okay. Everybody that's in the house is in the house. And we got Michelle Can-Am Free, and I'm sure that Big Al's in the house. Al, I sent you a link if you want to come on and say hi and tell about your cards. He's got cards coming up. And if he pops in, I'm going to pop up the deck. He sent me the picture for the top of the deck of cards. So if you can, that's good. And if you can't, well, then I'll pop it up and show everybody what the deck of cards are going to look like. So go ahead, order your cards. I know they're a little expensive, but you know, once he gets them going and he orders a whole bunch of them, you know, everybody will get theirs, and you know, it'll all be good.
And we can do that on the Q of Q network, is it?
Yes, the Crystal Network, Network. And I don't know. Yeah, and I don't know if I put a link in the bottom down here, but if I didn't, I will right after the show. Not to worry. I think I put it in the trailer, but I didn't put it in this one. I was busy. You know, I got a lot of stuff to do. I'm the bus driver. You know? Okay, here's another thing I forgot to tell you before the show, Mandy. If I go dark and my computer shuts off because I did a bunch of updates, and who knows, sometimes it gets finicky once in a while. It shuts off. You just keep right on sailing. That's why you're the co-host tonight. And we're still waiting for Omii. Omii's supposed to be coming on, and we're gonna see what she has to say about the crystals. But I still got a lot of, you know, things. Now, here's the thing. I want to start with, let's go with crystals. And what is the origin? I mean, you live in Australia there, so you know they got a really old history, and those Aboriginals have kept track of stuff. Do they use crystals?
I believe that they would use some stones. I'm not exactly sure. So every mob, so every tribe in their tribal area has a different use for different things. Some will do smoking ceremonies, some won't. So it depends and varies on tribes and things like that. I do know that some mobs from South Australia and there's a few other areas in New South Wales won't go near opals because opals are likely, when you're angry or sad, they actually are brighter than when you're happy. So I know that they choose to stay away for that reason, but I'm not exactly sure, so I can't speak for everybody. But I know stone arrangements were a big part of Aboriginal culture, not only for catching fish, but for other reasons as well. Yeah,
because you know, I noticed that, like, when you look way back in the history stuff, you kind of look back and see what they were doing, because obviously they seem to had some sort of knowledge. Or did we just pick up the crystal and say, hey, you know, is this all in our head? I mean, or is this one of those things that was passed down? That was kind of the thing, you know, taking certain stones, like the Indians here, they used a lot of rhinestone, and they used other certain stones, and they made certain, you know, like around their teepees, they made stone rings and things like that. They did wear, you know, a lot with shells and beads and things like that. They did, you know, and of course they had the arrows, they made that out of stone. But I'm just, you know, wondering, what is the, you know, yeah, and you kind of answered that. You know, maybe look into that a little more and give me an update on that. That would be really kind of cool, because, you know, there's a lot of stones, like you said, there's a lot of stuff in Australia that they would have been doing, you know, or did they think, oh, well, this is just a stone, it's foolish, you know, besides the opals?
Oh, no. They were very in touch with land, country, and the reason of why certain things were. And just going back to your comment on people say it's all in your head, even if it is all in your head, if you believe that that crystal does that, it's going to do that for you.
Good deal. Absolutely.
So it's all the power, and this is the frequency, mind over matter. And so as much as it's the crystal, it's within us. You don't even necessarily maybe even need to hold that crystal. You can bring up a picture of that crystal and just tune in with that frequency even. You've still got the same frequency. Even if you have a crystal book, you can flick through it and just open on a random page, and you'll normally find that the crystal you stop at is very relevant to you. So you don't necessarily even need the crystal tool. And it's so yeah, that is a good question. Is it the crystal or is it the belief that we give behind the crystal? But either way, some people, I guess, need the tool, as myself, and others, I guess, learn to tune in on different ways. So
yeah, see, that's the thing too, is it's like when somebody uses this with the here, I got my little board, I keep it handy, when I'm doing this, right? I remember with Patrick Garrett, and he did the talking with the, and you did the thing, and it'll do the thing, here we are. And so everybody knows what this is, right? These are tools, same as the crystal. This crystal is a tool. These rods I got from Marsha, these are tools, and that helps you focus, because you are actually the, how do I want to put it? You're the energy. You just need, because we're not used to focusing and doing that. We're so distracted by the world around us. That was one of my next questions too. Now, with the crystals and meditation, I don't know if you do any meditation stuff or really focus on things, but I was going to kind of ask this to Omii if she came on, but I didn't see her. I sent her a message, and sorry people if we ain't got her, but maybe she'll come on soon. But anyway, the idea is, where's a good safe space? Where is how do you create a safe space to put your crystals in and do some meditation?
So meditation is still something that I am learning.
Yes.
I more use mindfulness activities, maybe drawing, but a safe space is anywhere that you feel is clear that you can put your crystals.
Oh, okay.
That's how I feel, but it works differently for everybody else. Some people might need, a specific area, but for me, it's just somewhere where I feel safe, where I can put my crystals. In the same way, some people believe you shouldn't touch other people's crystals. Yeah. I don't have that problem. If somebody touches my crystals, there's no energy that they're going to take from that or put in that. And that's my belief. So, yeah, it's an interesting question. It's something I've been looking into a little bit lately.
Well, good. Yeah. Like I said, these are just, I mean, I know like myself, I like to meditate or whatever. Well, I'm almost always by myself and stuff, but I took up Wayne's suggestion of being in the bathroom kind of thing and doing the shower with the water running over me, and that's kind of like my little area. And then I'm like, okay, I get a good 2 minutes of just zoning out of everything and letting the water run, and I don't think about nothing else, and stuff. So that's kind of how that works. But everybody eat your own. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, I have a good friend of mine, and I gave her some jasper that I was lucky enough to have been given, and Australian jasper, and she puts that on top of her head in the shower and does that nurturing thing for herself. So jasper's a stone of nurturing, and that's just helped her. That's one of her safe places to use that crystal, where she can just put it on her head and just let the water run over her and be mindful of feeling that. And yeah, so mindfulness is a great way to meditate and bring down the mind as well. For some of us that have trouble switching off our thoughts.
Yeah. A lot of people do have a hard time switching off the world and turning into themselves. Instead of being out here, you want to be in here. And look who we got joining us. We got Big Al joining us. Hey, how you doing?
Hello.
Where you at home now, or he's not yet on the road?
No, I'm home, Robert. Hey, Mandy.
Hi, Al.
So what good stuff? Holy cow, what are those? I'm gonna blow it up. You do the speaker view. Say something now.
Yeah, okay. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me? Okay.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, hold up. Let me turn it down a bit. I didn't want to turn the volume up too high on the phone. Right. So Marsha made these. These are wands. And it has rubies, a birthstone. And they are powerful. I love it. This is shungite. Okay. Shungite ends. Can you dig it? All right, let's see here.
All right.
Did I
That was
lose my-
good.
Did I
Yeah.
lose
So-
my volume? Did I lose my volume? No.
No.
They
No,
definitely-
I shut everything off so that your speaker view so that you can get a full picture.
Oh, okay. All right. Well, you got the copper and the silver. Okay.
Yep. Yeah, just like this, only you got cool ends on them.
Yeah, I got really cool ends on them. Yeah.
Yes,
It's
yes,
just getting better and better. Every week gets better and better for me.
that's right. Marsha Price is awesome, isn't she?
And
Yes.
just noting that when he held them then he really smiled and his energy picked straight up then, and you can tell they're powerful. Yeah. they look like they could do some damage too if you needed to. They look awesome.
I just want to express love to everyone. Okay.
Absolutely.
No matter
Absolutely.
what happens, because every week I go out on the road, I see truckers with their trucks tipped over on the side in the woods, off into the woods. Some are on fire, some aren't.
Oh, jeez.
So, I just want to invoke safety to everyone. I really do, because I go 6,000 miles a week. That's and what me and Perry see is just insane. Okay. So we've got more crystals in the truck.
Wow.
We're just blessed. We really are.
Well, that's good, but I'm glad. Now this is a good question, Mandy. You were talking about the opals glowing brighter when you got angry at them and stuff like that. Can that energy, if say you had crystals in your house and you say got in a fight with somebody or you had a really bad day, would you project that on those crystals and then change their frequency? And then, or would they, if they were charged in a happy frequency, would they change your frequency? Or if you came home every day angry, would they build up the anger and then just, charge you up that way? I mean, it could work both ways, like a battery.
Yes, definitely. And just recently I found myself sort of going through a cycle where I was a little bit depressed, not depressed, but just weighing things up in my life. And I found it getting worse, and it clicked to me, because I have so much clear quartz around my house. And I mean, I'm talking very big clear quartz points, which are about amplification, manifestation. And then the point just sends that energy straight out there. So I've had to learn, when I'm feeling sad, I should cover those crystals up. Some crystals do need charging regularly. Some get too, yes, they can build up some energy. Other crystals are self-cleansing. It's all just what sort of feels right. You'll notice the coloration change with it, even in the crystals that you can get. Like an amethyst is one that sort of changes color regularly with it. Sometimes it'll go darker, sometimes it'll go lighter. If you feel like that amethyst is depleted, go bury it in your backyard for a couple of weeks and bring it back up. And the new energies that has is absolutely amazing. Mm-hmm. So,
interesting.
Yeah, it's like I said, it's each to their own on what feels right. Because some crystals I'll need to bury, other crystals will feel right in salt. Other crystals will just feel right sitting on top of some crystals. So if you have an amethyst cluster, that is a great cleanser for crystals. You can just sit a crystal on top of that and it will renew that.
Oh, wow. Yeah. See, so there's like What are you doing? Hey, hey, little dog. I am having a show. Dog, come here. Come on. You want to come up here? Show over. Come on. Come on. You want to say hi to everybody? Come on. Come here. She just wants to be noticed too, you know. Hello, she says. There she is. Oh, yeah. She's all happy. And I'm petting her. Okay, you just go lay down. Yeah. Okay, sit. Okay, so there you go. Sorry about that. We all got her pets. She's like lonely. Like, what are you doing? You're talking, but you're not petting me. So anyway, that's a good one for you. Speaking of animals, I don't know if you have dogs and stuff. Do the crystals affect animals?
Certainly. So I have a red cattle dog.
Yep.
And her name is Ruby. She wasn't named after a crystal though. She was named after a Jeep Rubicon. I didn't name her. But yeah. So certain days there are crystals that I'll put out. Apophyllite, for instance, is something that Ruby is very unsure of. Amethyst, she loves. So I have pictures of her and she's in the background and you can just see a smile on her face. Yeah, there's other crystals that she won't like. I noticed because I have bowls of crystals in my office and they're cleaning, for cleaning and things. And she'll prefer to go to those and drink from those than she would her regular water bowls. So even if you've got a couple of crystals around, it's a great experiment. Pop a rose quartz in one bowl of water and nothing in the other and see which one they go to. So yes, I do believe crystals very much affect animals, and a lot of people that have animals and crystals will notice that the animals will resonate towards or gravitate towards crystals on certain days.
That is really cool. That is really cool. Speaking of crystals and stuff, the Crystal Network, Al, your cards. I am going to share the screen and we're going to talk about your cards for a second. I don't mean to jump off topic too much, but here we go. And I don't know if y'all can see that, but there's the cards. And that is what? Al, tell us a little bit about this.
Right, so that's that's going to be the cover for the box. Okay. Not everyone is in there, obviously. That right there is a couple of years worth of cartoon drawing there. Okay.
Yeah.
So in fact, I think I put you in there last week. Did I not?
I'm seeing me right here. I see Michelle Can-Am Free and Wayne. I see David Barry right here, Julianne Payne. There's you up in the corner.
Right.
There's Brian down here, Deborah. There's Deborah Truax. There's Kent. Trina down here. This is what's his name? I can't think of it off the top of my head.
Delabar.
Yes, that's it. And who else we got in here? There's Nina up here.
Yep.
There's Shannon.
On the left. Yeah, Shannon. Then on the left. You got Perry and Angel. And you have, of course, in the middle, you've got Karen.
Yeah.
Showing off her legs there. And then, but this has just been an accumulation of a few years now. Okay.
Yep.
I'd like to get what I think I'd like to do is get everyone on there that are on the cards.
Yep.
So anyway, I thought I'd use that for now. Okay, because it's just a cardboard case. It's not hinged because there's 60 cards, and some of the other cards are started on the second deck. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to get those other ones out and then just switch some of the cards for the other 4. Okay.
Yeah.
And let's see. So right now we got 25 on order.
Okay.
And in fact, no, actually we have, Deborah Hickman ordered today. She went on the Queen of Quartz and tried the order the cards, but for some reason it wasn't working. So I just sent her a PayPal request
Okay.
directly. Okay.
Well, there you go. So if you have problems, people will, you'll make sure it's all goes through, right?
Yeah, I had to do that today on the road. She couldn't get it to work for some reason. But the link on A7 though has the for the custom cards
Yeah.
just for work. She said that one does work.
Okay.
That's just an advertisement for, you know, any custom work.
Yep.
But now the one on Karen's site worked last week.
Okay. Yeah, I ordered mine off of the Crystal Network. So
Yeah, you sure did. I found all three of your orders finally. And of course I've got everyone's history on PayPal now. Okay.
yeah. Yeah.
So we got a few extras, you know, it has to be ordered in you know, 5, 10, 25, 50, 100, and 500. Of course,
Yep.
we won't do that, but so I've got ordered 25, and that gives me right now, it gives me about $1.60 for shipping
Mm-hmm.
because it's only 25. Okay.
Yep.
You know, originally it was going to be 100, which would have actually given us plenty for shipping. So if I can get a few more orders in, that's going to help out on the shipping.
Okay.
Like sending cards to Jules and David Berry, of course, you know, as everyone knows, when you ship overseas,
That's for sure.
it could be
Costs a little more.
$30, you know, $30 or $40 just to ship.
There you go.
But that's okay. I mean, it's part of the deal here, you know, because
Yes.
it means a lot to me. I mean, I've spent 1,000 hours with these cards. Okay.
Absolutely.
And I don't expect anything in return. This is all for you guys, you know, in honor of Brian and in honor of everyone in this tribe. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going to be powerful too, Robert. These cards can be very powerful. Okay.
Yep.
Because it has the essence of everyone's life and love. So and what I like about it, it has the 2 wild Brian Barnett wild cards going to be mixed in with it, and the 2 jokers. So that means when you're playing spades with 4 people, you're going to have, everyone's going to have an extra card.
There you go.
Right?
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? So that's going to be an interesting game to play because there's so many different combinations. If you and your partner are playing spades, and between the both of you have the 2 Brian Barnett all powerful wild cards and the 2 jokers, it's game over right there.
Yeah, there you go.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But anyway, so if we can get some more orders in, that'd be great. It really would offset the shipping. Okay.
Absolutely. I might order a couple more decks. You never know. And hey,
How
besides
many more
that,
do you need to get to Target?
Say what?
How many more orders do you need to get to Target?
Well, okay. So for instance, there was some folks, Mandy, who wanted to order 10 for Christmas. You know, you got folks who want 5 and 10. And we just couldn't get it done in time. So if I could get you know, if I could get 10 more orders, okay, then it would just be a wash. In other words, it wouldn't cost anyone any extra money. So right now, as it is, that $21.97 is not enough for the shipping because it's only 25 on the order. You follow me?
Yeah.
yeah.
So you know, if we can get about 10 more orders, I mean, actually there's let's see, there's 54 total as far as folks who want a deck, each one of them, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because you got the 52 plus the 2 jokers. You got Jules and JoJo as the jokers.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so that's 54. So if each one orders a deck, then it's all good. You follow me? But some, Robert, like you said, you're going to have giveaways. So
Yeah, well, I know everybody in the group here, not everybody can afford, and I think we'll do to have a deck of cards for maybe a drawing or something like that. We got I wanted to tell everybody we got a Nina Anacaranda shirt party coming up that we're working on, and so we need everybody to truck on over, get a Anacaranda shirt and maybe if we'll have a drawing for everybody who puts on their Anacaranda shirt, so
Right.
I know they're about $25 too, but hey, if you put your Anacaranda shirt on and you send me a picture or something, or you come to the party, I'll put your name in a hat, you could win a $20 $21 deck of cards. See how good's
Yeah,
that? You get a free deck of
yeah,
cards and your shirt didn't cost you,
true.
but you got two things for one.
Right.
Not
Well, the
everybody's
thing,
gonna. I'm only gonna give maybe I know one
well,
or two decks here.
right. If you think about it, Robert, not everyone has bought in the t-shirts, Milky Way t-shirts. They're
Yep.
$25, for a t-shirt. I mean, back in the day, it was what, $5, right?
Yeah.
So most people that they can't even afford to buy t-shirts, let alone a deck of cards, right? So
Yeah.
But the thing I like about it is this goes back a long ways. This tribe, this group, right?
Yep.
So t-shirts, they're great and everything, but the cards, these cards are professional grade, poker grade, embossed, very shiny. They'll last a long time. You won't crinkle the ends. You know how cards get worn out and all that, right?
Yeah.
These won't. These are beautiful cards. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
In fact, when I placed the order, the person I was working with is no longer employed there.
Oh, geez.
So I had to start over. They lost all the data.
Yeah. Yeah. I totally agree. But I do right now. I got my Bosto shirt on. Bosto, remember? So
Yeah.
I don't know. I
See,
get the back of the Bosto.
Yeah, we'll
shirt.
see. Right. So there you go. Right. So there's $20, $25 for that.
Yeah.
And $25 for another shirt, deck of cards. I mean, these days it's tough for people to even keep a job. So I understand completely. Yeah. And also, I'm hoping me and Perry can keep our jobs too.
Yeah.
Because there are things going down right now that may change all that very quickly here. So
yeah. Yeah, the world is changing as we know it. So
it's getting to the point where we have to make a decision whether we're going to be allowed through interstate commerce to go from state to state, or we want to go to Canada and New Mexico. We have our passports, but I'm not so sure that's going to work now.
You're going to have interstate passports. And we all know what that means. If you don't get the jab, don't say the words.
I'm not going to do it. And I'll tell you right now, if it comes down to interstate commerce, I can tell you that this is going to get ugly.
Yeah, well, that's a good word to the wise for everybody. And I think, if you're questioning Al's thoughts, go and do some research on it yourself and come up with your own opinions.
Well, the problem is if it becomes mandated, okay, the truckers will boycott literally, and just you won't have your food and supplies delivered. That's the bottom line. It just won't happen. And I think there's going to be a point where they're going to have to make a decision, right? Whether how far they want to go with this charade.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, something I try not to give too much thought or power to. I'm lucky enough in Australia sort of to have all that botched stuff. But yeah, at the end of the day, I think we need to look at when it comes to anything to do with this is that your Spanish influenza was H1N1. So which is your normal influenza that you get now. So this also goes on with the vibration and the frequency and stuff. So how do we know as the vibration of resonance of the earth doesn't change, that certain virus that doesn't change the way that viruses interact with our body differently? And maybe something like this is a natural progression. essentially, like I said, I'm lucky enough in a country to be not really affected by this. I don't know of anyone who knows of anyone who's had this. I know it's hitting places like America a lot harder, but I just look at it and I just think maybe this is a natural progression of things. Maybe as the vibration changes and our frequency changes as well, then the way in which these viruses, these pharmaceuticals, for instance, are going to interact with our body differently. Maybe corona is just a natural progression of these viruses then interacting with our body differently as we're coming into these new vibrations and these new energies. And like I said, I think there's a lot of fear mongering being done around it and things like that. And yes, I try not to give it any power, but yes, it does get scary when they're talking about a lot of vaccinations. But if there's any good doctors out there that can sign a certificate, just send me an email and let me know. Like, I could really use your services. No, but yes. So yeah, try not to give it.
You do have a good point. You know, we were talking about how that changes that, and all those things are, you know, you're right. They have that frequency of the earth, the Schumann resonance, that's affecting us. It's changing us continuously. Like you said, you were talking about that. Show us that crystal thing that you said it grew in like 4 months or something like that. And tell everybody the story about this.
So this is apophyllite. I've had this probably about a year, and I'm happy to send you some photos of when I first had it, as opposed to some better photos in this camera. But you can see how all of this part is a slightly different color to the rest. So this is all new crystal growth that has happened in a matter of months. I even have quite a big amethyst cave, and it's grown 4 small crystals within 8 months. And we're told that these take millions of years to grow. As I said, I went somewhere 4 months ago and I went back there, and there is Drew's crystal all over the surface of this. So yet again, I just believe that the Schumann resonance, because the higher the frequency, the better the crystalline structures that we create are supported. So, you know, like I said, I believe it's got a lot to do with the crystal growth as well that we're starting to notice happen. In Australia, since we've had the floods, they're pulling out some massive crystals at the moment. And I think we're going to see that worldwide when it starts to heat up in America and people go off down to their mining places and little fossicking areas and things like that. You're going to notice a lot more crystals than normal. So I do believe that this has a lot to do with the Schumann resonance increase. And yeah, like I said, we know that it better supports crystalline structures. I don't know what it's like in America, but I know in Australia, people are talking, there's certain plants that are dying more than others now. Peace lilies, for instance. So these are plants that maybe have more sensitivity or are more stuck in that resonance and aren't going too well to this higher resonance or frequency.
Oh, that is fascinating. I've never thought about the plants, you know, because they need the minerals from the ground. I mean, they're literally attached to the earth. And as the earth changes, I mean, you know, we talk about grounding ourselves all the time, and you know, plants literally grounded to the earth 24/7.
Yes. Even just when you have a look at the structure of a human being versus the structure of earth, we are 70% water, as is the earth. If you go and have a look at how much iron is within the earth, it very much correlates with how much iron needs to be in the body. So the percentage of that, how much copper is in the earth, and you go and have a look at the percentage of that, and it correlates a lot to do with the body. Yeah, so just something that I had noticed and I found quite fascinating. So yes, we are, quite a lot to do with the earth.
We are of the earth, literally. We are of the earth. We're just walking, talking individuals of the earth. You know, really. And it is long. And I think sometimes that, you know, that you're right. if we get out of balance with the earth by, too much iron or too much copper, or too little of each one, out of frequency, don't ground enough or something like that, well, then you're going to develop illnesses and you're going to develop diseases and things like that too.
Even too much technology.
Oh yeah. Yeah. That is really good. Turn off the TV once in a while and walk outside and just hug a tree.
Oh, even where you go somewhere where you can't get mobile phone reception, just notice how you feel at those times, as opposed to when your phone's in your pocket and you're still able to get reception. It's something I don't know, I feel a lot better in places like that than when I come back to the city, and it's almost like you can hear the buzzing of the electricity around you and things like that. So yeah.
Steve is asking a question of, do you think there is a correlation between 7.83 hertz human resonance and the population being around 7.83 billion people? Resonant frequency, maybe? Is that anything, or just a
no, I have looked into that, and I more thought the correlation was around the equator. That's 78,000 miles of actual water line as opposed to land mass. And I thought the water levels are rising because I know our frequency is rising, as is the earth. So I was wondering if that was more of the correlation, but I haven't looked into that exact part as but that's a good question. Interesting.
Well, like I said, there are people out there are really smart people. I mean, they're always asking the good questions, and sometimes it makes me think, and I appreciate it. I get a lot of emails from people thanking me and people asking questions, and I love to do the research and look into that stuff. So I thank everybody who writes me. It really makes my day sometimes. So thank you.
I actually found some great paperwork, and I'll send an email across to you afterwards, and anyone else that's interested, you can send it on to. And it's actually about crop circles and how the crop circles have changed their complexity since 1990. And it's believed that this is the interaction of the Schumann resonance, as well as the vibration changing of human consciousness interacting with each other. It's actually quite an interesting article to read.
Nice. I know the how should I put it, the mood of the people, with the frequency that things have been changing with this, pandemic thing that's been going around. I'm wondering if that changes the frequency of the people just by, having that happen. Al, he's somebody that gets around a lot. Al, you still there? Can you tell if you've been around the countryside a lot? When you go to different areas, since you've been all across the United States multiple times, now I know you only stop in truck stops mostly. Have you noticed the difference since you started driving of the attitude of people?
Yes, absolutely. In the past year and a half, I've noticed a difference. Absolutely. And a lot of times when you get near power, windmills, you lose your internet, you lose your phone. The frequency changes. Sometimes I feel the ring in the ears gets loud. A lot of things change when there's a lot of power around. Aches and pains in your body. Plus we go in different altitudes as well. Okay.
Yeah.
But just the mindset though of folks in the past, say since February, for instance, everyone has that fear in their eyes now. And you can't see them because that half their face is covered. You see folks riding bicycles with masks on. I mean, it's just the attitude has changed for sure.
For sure.
Yeah, but
of
course, where you're at, Robert, it's maybe it's different in more of a country setting, right?
Yes, yeah. Mandi, how about you? And you're in another country. What's the attitude of the people there?
There's a business around the corner and they have a sign on the front that just says no corona, please. So I'm in Brisbane. We got put on mask mandates. I was just like, sorry, I forgot my mask. And everyone's like, it's all right. So there were mask mandates. I know they're a lot heavier down in Melbourne and things like that. But when you talk about the frequency changing and then the corona and stuff like that, so corona is when the sun lets off energy, it's called a coronal mass ejection. Our corona is our aura. So for that to not interact, we need to be, I think it's 1.2 meters apart. So I know they say 6 feet in America. So I think it's under 6 feet for our auras not to interact. And then you hear stuff on the news. I don't have a TV because it doesn't work well when I watch the news and things like that, because it seems to be about keeping the people in fear. They say to you, so in Australia, they went, well, we've got the super UK strand of coronavirus. And then this is at the time when they suspended Trump's Twitter accounts. And then they went on to go about that they had suspended the accounts. And it's like, if they were trying to actually educate the people in this instead of fear mongering, what they would have gone on with is, this is what we've got in Australia. And then this is how the UK dealt with it. This was their bell curve ratio. This is what we noticed with the increase of numbers. That would be educational. They wouldn't be keeping us in a state of panic and fear and wearing the masks and all the rest of it. So I believe, and if the resonance is changing, wouldn't that be a good way for people not to notice, is if you lock them all down in their house and then you play something on the news, which then keeps us vibrating at a lower level on a whole collective consciousness frequency. So it's contagious. And, you know, if you're not vibrating at that frequency and neither is your neighbor or his neighbor, then that's going to, that energy field will expand and kind of become contagious within itself. So is it some of the fear mongering that we're seeing on the media, which is keeping people in such a state of fear and fight or flight anxiety? We're not getting blood to our organs when we're in that state, and therefore this brings on disease, this brings on sickness, not getting proper oxygen and things like that. So it's questionable whether, some of their tactics are designed to keep us in this state of lower frequency instead of allowing us to come to this state of higher frequency that we need to be, especially with the changes in the earth.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. And Steve had just said the news is not in our best interest. And you're right, because if you're stuck in your house and you're told all this stuff is going on outside, what's the first thing you're going to do? You're going to turn on the news to see what's going on. Why can't I go outside? Let's turn on the news. And that is so true. Now, one thing I wanted to say about the mask, my own father had went to the doctor, you know, he had to get a checkup or whatever, and he had to have the mask on, you know, how they do. But because he had the mask on, he couldn't breathe, and his blood pressure was really, really high. So they were going to try to, you know, give him IVs and do all these things. And he's like, I can't breathe with this mask on, but they wouldn't let him take it off unless. So what they did is they put him in a room and then they all left so he could breathe for a while. Then they made him put the mask on because they were too afraid to come in the room with him with the mask off. Like, oh my God, you know, and then he came back in, took his blood pressure again, and it was back to normal just because he took the mask off and took a good few breaths of air. So look what it'll do to you, people. You have that mask on, they'll put you down pretty much. Oh, he's dying. Look at, well, of course you got a mask on.
Yeah, we were in me and Perry were in California. We had to go to a Walmart, and I was the only one out of hundreds of people. I refused to wear the mask. So and I knew this was going to happen. So finally, this big family, you know, we're all standing around, and this gentleman approached me. He says, "Excuse me, sir. Did you forget your mask, or are you just doing it on purpose?" Right? And Perry looks at him and says, Oh no, he has health issues, and plus the virus is fake anyway. They all went like they were just totally bamboozled.
Yeah.
It was it was great. I wish I'd have filmed it. It was fantastic. It was the funniest thing you could ever see.
When I take trips to go back to Wisconsin, I just tell them, I'm not from here. We don't do that where I come from. I don't know anything about it. We don't. There's nobody around here doing that stuff. Well, I shouldn't say, but there's a few people, but most people, I go to the restaurant, nobody's wearing a mask, and the waitress and stuff, they don't wear masks. I go to the stores, the clerks, a lot of places didn't, nobody's wearing a mask, nowhere.
Is that
nobody.
That's in North Dakota, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like normal. It's almost normal. You go to a few places and they do, but most places, the clerk behind the counter don't even wear a mask.
Is anyone seeing, I like to look at the positive side of what Corona has brought. Like I said, yet again, I'm in Australia. We have a small population and we have not been affected anywhere near other countries in the world. But after being locked down for 18 months, family that you didn't really want to see 18 months ago, you're now like, yeah, let's go and see them, like looking forward to it. Like instead of people booking holidays to France and Europe and Japan, all of a sudden they're going, hey, what's in my own backyard? They're willing to go and explore places like, North Dakota and Utah and like all these other places that they might not have gone and been willing to explore beforehand. So this is what I like to see about the positive side is sort of 2 years ago, people were getting up, going to their job, and it was, this again. It was becoming so mundane and we took so much for granted. Some people in Australia have lost their jobs, but those of them that have kept it, or even the new jobs that have come up through this, people are excited about going to their jobs again. Kids are excited about going to school and interacting with their friends again, rather than it just being so mundane and taken for granted. So I like to look at the positive side of that, which is it's got us to really appreciate some of what was really important, things that just going to the store without having to cover your face. Like 2 years ago, if you went into a bank with a mask on, you'd get shot. Now they want to shoot you if you don't walk into one like without a mask on. It's mental. It's gone backwards.
Yeah. Well, and you're right. When you have stuff and then you lose it and then you get it back, you tend to realize how much you appreciate that. And you don't realize what you've lost until it's gone. I mean, and that goes on a whole mess of levels.
Have you noticed, Robert, the lumber prices have skyrocketed? Okay.
Yes.
The cheapest place to buy lumber right now is in the state of Arkansas. Okay. Now, a 2x4 is $10 at Lowe's.
Yep.
A 2x4.
Yeah, I know.
It used to be what, a couple of bucks, maybe?
Yeah,
right.
$3.
For treated 2x4x8.
Yep.
So, my son, he does a lot of decks and all that around. Does construction on the side, and the prices have gone up so high now that because everyone has stayed home because of the fake virus, and so everyone's remodeling their homes, and now all of a sudden there's supposedly this shortage. Okay.
Yep.
And it's not just lumber either. And it's so there's a lot of different facets that's going on here. Okay. A lot of investors are making a bunch of money on all this. Okay.
Of course,
So if you think about the matrix of it all, it's quite ingenious actually, because it's just like, remember the toilet paper issue, right?
Yeah.
And there was never a shortage of it. It's just that it was perceived to be that way. I used to work in paper mills, and they run 24/7, 365.
Yep.
They never run out, ever. Okay.
Why were people getting worried about toilet paper for a flu? I could understand if they ran out of tissues, but why toilet paper? That's the mentality behind it. Next pandemic, I'm going to get some shares in Caramello koalas or something and just go to the shop and be like, what happens if they run out of Caramello koalas? And I don't know, I'm just being smart about it.
No, you got a good point though.
Well, the the profit that was made from that industry, okay, from toilet paper, they tripled their profits, okay, because everyone went to the store and bought that product, okay, and a lot of investors made millions on it. It was a very ingenious idea. It's just that folks are sick of it now. They're sick and tired of it.
Yeah, I agree. Now here's my food for thought. Speaking of all this high priced lumber, just think what would happen if that was for a gallon of milk, dozen of eggs, a pound of hamburger, your vegetables in the store, and all of a sudden you walk in there and that gallon of milk that used to be $3-4 is now 25. Holy cow, you'd be thinking differently about buying that gallon of milk now, wouldn't you? Water would seem like a really good deal. But I'm just saying, it would change your perspective on what you're going to buy. I mean, we waste a lot of food. Even myself, I waste a lot of food because I'm a single guy. I buy stuff and I don't eat it. And then, it goes bad. I can't eat it fast enough. We are going to have to rethink our values and our eating habits and all of that stuff.
Right, exactly. And maybe, and this is the shift, this is the change, slowly, right? I mean, it started a couple of 100 years ago.
Yes.
In this experiment called the United States, right? The colonies. It was one big experiment. Well, look how it's manifested, right?
Yeah.
So we have to make the change today. We have
Yes.
to make the change because we can't let these upper echelons continue to bamboozle us like this, because they only, at the end of the day, it's the bankers who are making all the profit, all the investors. Okay, they're the ones that are making all the money.
This is a good way to start implementing that change. So, for instance, the price of fruit and veggies and things like that are going up. And I know a lot more people this year are more interested in growing their own. How many farmers, and like we spoke about frequency and the energy into things. So how many farmers last year, commercial farmers, had to throw crops into landfills? So this next crop that comes up is going to be one of desperation, and that's the energy that's going to go into it. That's why food tastes so good when it used to be grown at home. Nan's tomatoes, they were yummy as because she put love into them. She didn't have commercial value behind them. She went, oh, I hope these feed my family. And that's something out of love. She's looking after and nurturing those plants. And that's where I think we are going to start to see people, one, becoming more self-sufficient, and even going back to your smaller community based things, rather than going to a big supermarket where you have to interact with a lot of people. People are going to want to go to their small corner store butcher. They're going to want to go to their farmers markets. They're going to want to know who's growing what in the local area. And this is an opportunity to change and really reassess the way in which we are doing things. We took international commerce and travel on for granted and stuff. And I think this is a chance to really not only become more self-sufficient, but also reestablish industries within our own countries that have died. The car manufacturing industry, same as it has in America, in Australia, has died. It's all made in Europe or Asia and things like that, and then shipped over. And this is a chance to get some of that infrastructure, even like the steel processing plants and things like that. It's a chance to get some of that infrastructure back and become more self-sufficient within ourselves. But even on a community level or an individual level, we can start to grow these things at home. So we're growing them with love.
Yeah. And that is a really good point. I really never thought about that. The love that you put into that garden, because that's when I grow a garden, I literally handle all the plants and love all the plants. And if you're a commercial farmer, you go through with a tractor, you plow the stuff, you plant the things, and you don't know your plants. You just plow it through and do the thing. I want to comment on something that Gaza says. Gaza Cav, he's a gardener, you know, and I'm going to have him on here. It's going to be spring here in the US, and we're going to plant some stuff pretty soon. So he says, I love giving away my food. It gives me great joy and satisfaction. So not only are you putting love into the plants, you give it away, and you're giving love, and you're also receiving it back to you. So that's a double whammy for everybody's a winner in that. So grow some stuff and give a little bit away. You probably have too much. Don't let it rot on the vine.
And also, it's a great chance to start looking into our natural alternatives. So something like rhubarb, for instance.
Yes.
It's one of my grandma's secrets. So I don't know if it's so much a secret, but something she taught me was the leaves are poisonous. Yes. But you can boil them up in water and spray those on your plants. And that's a natural herbicide, pesticide, and fungicide that is safe around dogs, animals, and children. Sorry, so pets, children. You just give it a light rinse and stuff like that. And it's non-carcinogenic. So you don't have to worry about that, where yet again, commercial growth, you don't know what's being sprayed on that. Even to buy flowers in a florist, and I'm saying I was going to dry them out and use them in some bath salts I make. And she goes, oh, I don't know what's being sprayed on them. I don't know if that's safe. And it's like, then why is it safe to put your face into the flower and sniff it? And she goes, I've been working here 4 years and I haven't had a problem. It's like, it's not how that stuff works. So it's a great way to start looking into some natural alternatives like that. Unfortunately, I haven't been able to grow rhubarb to save my life yet. But so yes, if Gaz has got any great tips, that would be great. But yeah, so even looking into things like this, more natural alternatives to look after our garden as well. Getting compost and actually burying our scraps and what that does for the earth instead of just wasting them. So yeah.
Okay, well, that is a good one. I grow some rhubarb too. My rhubarb isn't growing so good. So Gaza, this is my challenge to you. Me and Mandy both want to know, what is your suggestion for growing better rhubarb? Come up with one, give me an email, and we'll discuss it. We'll have a whole plans, but I want to know about the rhubarb. So with that, any last words? We've gone over our hour, of course, as always, but right. You know, everybody's getting tired. It's getting that late night 30 anyway. So
sure. Well,
I thank you both for coming. Any last words, Mandy?
Yeah.
No, thank you very much for having me on.
Oh, it was really informative. You really know your stuff. And I appreciate everything. And if you come up with some of those things we talked about, and let me know, and we'll do another show and have you on. We'll do the whole thing again.
Yes, certainly, anytime. Thank you.
Al?
Yeah, well, yeah, and thank you, Mandy. A lot of this food that's out in the road too is all garbage. So a lot of folks can also do fasting as well. And I don't mean starving yourself to death. There's alternatives of detoxing your body too for 3 to 4 days. Some folks do it 5 days and they lose weight and they feel great. So we gotta stop eating all these hamburgers and fries, and it's just not doing any good for us. You know, there are other alternatives, you know, because you know, when you're out on the road and you see the same conglomerates, you know, the McDonald's and the Arby's, and it's all like this, they're all locked in, give the same poisons to everyone, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So there's other alternatives that you can do. I'm starting to eat fruits and vegetables now, staying away from the hamburgers. It's just not good for you anymore, in my opinion.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. Processed foods, whole foods, like that's the thing. Now, we had Sarah on a couple weeks ago, and she was talking about, I don't know if you guys remember, about the real, you know, the life energy of the food. When you eat real food, it has life energy. Yes. You consume that. We just talked about the frequency, the love that you put into that plant, yes. And then you're giving that and you're eating that real food. But now when you eat that processed food, there isn't none of that there. You can get some nutrition and nutrients and stuff, but you're not getting that life energy. And that is what keeps you healthy and well. And like Sarah was saying, get that chi, you know. I hope you guys are doing your breathing and your stretching and you know, and the things like that, because I've been doing that. And Sarah's going to come back on, I hope, and give us another update on all of that, because I've been stretching, you know, as hard as you can to the top, you know, and then
Sorry, just
breathing.
quickly.
And
that's really good stuff too. When you compress your palms together, and you know, you compress, and then you release, and then you stretch out. Another quick note too, use a microwave on food. It's you might as well just be eating dirt. You destroy all the nutrients when you use a microwave oven.
That
I
is
haven't
true.
used a microwave oven. Oh, what's it been now? Over 5 years. I mean, I use the air fryer instead.
Yeah.
You know, that big round air fryer. Well, some of them are rectangular, but you know what I'm talking about? Air fryer.
Yes, I got one of those.
And it's so much better. I mean, you can cook anything with it, but the microwave oven is a frequency, but it's a harmful frequency. Okay.
Yeah. Don't go to pop your popcorn in there and then stare at the window like you did when you were a kid, because it's throwing, you think it's not. I got one of those little things here. I got one of those dealies, and I'm going to get it out, and we're going to do something with that. And we're going to show you how it's an EMF meter. I spent $125 on it, and I'm going to put it some good use one of these days. But sure. Mandi, you were just talking about that when we started, before we started the show, what did we do? Mandi,
we did some breathing exercises because I get very anxious. Yeah, we did some breathing exercises, brought me back down and calm.
It's very important, because when you're compressing, you're letting out breath slowly. You know, I did that a lot when I used to do Shotokan and karate. Breathing was very important. So you know, compress and then release. And it has a lot of benefits.
We did. Go ahead, Mandi.
Sorry, just quickly before I forget. So when we were talking about, this food before, when the chi of the food and the energy of the food, and then let's add the Dr. Emoto's words on water. If you say those positive words to the plant that you're growing, and then you intake that food, is that a new energy within that food?
Oh, very good. Very good.
I think Jules is the one to ask on that. She told me.
Oh, well, there you go, Jules. There you go. I'm gonna have to write her a letter or find out about that. So good deal. Well, anyway, I want to say thank you very much. Thank you to everybody that showed up. I didn't get to say hi to, like Brandy and John Goodman, and John was saying he wondered when my birthday was. Gaza Cav, and Deborah Sloan is in the house, and Gaza, he's gonna get back to me on that stuff. And let's see, I don't know, and Renee Hutchinson, I think she was already in there, and whoever else I missed, I'm sorry, but gosh darn, we had a really good show, and thank you both for coming. And like always, we want to say, what
would be cool? What would be cool, Robert, is if you just gave a link to everyone in the tribe.
Yeah, we're gonna get everybody on someday. We're gonna have that Zoom party with the Ana Karana shirt for Nina. And we're going to party on. We're going to give away some cards. I'm going to put up a whole thing on that. So get your Nina shirt bought with the Ana Karana on it. I'm going to give away a shirt, and I got a sticker I'm going to give away too. So you guys all be ready, because we're going to figure out something. We're going to have a drawing, and you all can get in on it and get yourself a shirt or a sticker or something or whatever. We're going to do it. And you come to the party, and we're going to give you a deck of cards soon as Al gets them ordered. How's that?
I'm working on it.
He's working. He's the hardest working man in the country. Okay. Thank you all. Thank you, everybody. And remember, be the frequency you want to receive. Peace. Love you all. Wrong button.
I'm trying to remember. I think